Warning, this show has outdated attitudes, language, and views which may cause offense today. If you don't like it, suck it.
This video is not intended for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Mornings of Mischief. I'm your host, Stone Loki, and with me today on this wonderful panel talking Mandalorian is the one, the only, the rooster in the hen house, Dave. Bob, how are you doing, brother?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
I am doing great, and also on this wonderful panel is the one, the only, the just got monetized, Reina Creole. Good morning, Reina.
Good morning, Loki. Good morning, Dave, Bob, and good morning to all of you awesome folks in the chat. I am so glad to be here with you all today.
You got to know that as soon as you have that party, I'm going to be the first one in there hitting that super chat button. Congrats.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much. And oh my gosh, thank you to you and everyone here who's helped me hit this milestone. I am eternally grateful.
You have been kicking ass. You have kicked some major ass. People said I rushed through that. No, you rushed through that. Damn. How long have you been streaming? I know you've been streaming longer than you've had your own channel, but since you got your own channel, how long have you been streaming?
About 5 months, 3 weeks.
Almost 6 months. Almost 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. Damn, that was fast.
Thank you. It was crazy. It was crazy. And I thought Christy was crazy for saying, oh yeah, you're gonna hit that
before the end of the year.
Before the end of the year. I'm like, yeah, And then everything kept happening. Like she said, I'm like, you know what? I'm not even pushing against it at all. You tell me things.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
And Chrono asked, La Reina Creole, is that a real Hattori Hanzo sword?
It is from Reface app. It sure is.
Oh shit. Okay, so guys, yes, there will be spoilers in this. Yes, there's some crazy shit that happened in this episode. No, this was not a filler episode. This is not a filler episode. We were all wondering, okay, we got to wait an episode to get to Ahsoka. Is this going to be a filler episode? And no, it was not in any way, shape, or form. This was a very good episode. I don't know if I'd call it the best episode of The Mandalorian yet. It was certainly up there in the really good episode range. I'm still thinking last week's was the best. I really do with Death Watch, and I'd love seeing. Yes, this episode sees the return of Cara Dune, but I really like last week's episode. I really did.
Cara Dune coming back did it for me. This episode was fantastic.
Yeah, I really liked it. For me, I was excited to see Moff Gideon.
Yeah,
that was who I wanted to see.
Yeah, that was definitely not a filler episode. It moves the story along nicely.
Yeah. Again, another episode that I wish the season would have started off with, but glad we got it when we did.
That would have been interesting to start the season off like this. It would have been really interesting. There are some big things that happened in this episode.
Mhm.
You got two really huge things. I don't want to start off there because it's like throwing the cat out before you even have done anything yet. So let's start off at the beginning. The ship's in trouble. The Razor Crest is in trouble. It's limping along in space. Mandalorian's gone so far as to throw Baby Yoda into the like, I guess the Jeffries tube version. It's like a small little hidey hole in the ship.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't call that a Jeffries tube. I'd just call that a little dead-gum crawl space.
Yeah. And he, of course, Baby Yoda's playing with wires. He's like, no, the red one. Put the red one where the blue one was. And blue wire, red wire, kind of some lethal weapon. You know? Is that what you thought too?
Right. I did too. You know, the classic bomb defusal scene where no, connect this wire to this wire, and you know they never get it right the first time. So you know, no matter what he told Baby Yoda, he wasn't going to do the right thing.
No. Don't let him touch. Don't
let him touch. Right.
So naturally, he gets lit up.
Yes. I like what Dave Bob said when we were watching that you expected for to see a skeleton when he was shot.
It shocked the shit out of him. Baby Yoda was smoking.
Yeah.
he's like tripping out and smoking, and Mando's just like, I knew this wasn't gonna work.
He said it was worth a shot.
Worth a shot. Oh shit. So they decide to go back where this all started. They go back to it's Navarro, and to see it's Kriega, right? That's his name.
The city.
Kriega. Let's see. I know it's Kriega. It's Carl Weathers' character. Yeah, Grief Karga. Grief Karga. I'm thinking Kriega. It's Karga. And of course, Cara Dune is now the marshal of the city that they were at in the very beginning. You just said the name of it, Dave Bob. You just said the name. Oh, so Baby Yoda has to stay at the schoolhouse that they've set up there. They've set up like a schoolhouse being taught by an old 3PO unit. And man, Baby Yoda's hungry. And Loriana knew exactly what Baby Yoda wanted because there's this kid and he's eating cookies, or what looks like cookies. And what were they?
They are French macarons, not to be confused with macaroons, which are coconut. But French macarons it's like they have this meringue puffy outside and like a creamy inside. And they're usually in vivid colors or pastel colors. So they look very strange. So I think that fit in with So Baby Yoda had one that was blue. And I've had these several times. They're kind of like a drier whoopie pie on the outside. So I give them points for turning one blue and making it look like something weird that no one's ever really seen before, but only if you're like a foodie like me. You're just like, oh yeah, that's a macaron, but I like that it's blue.
Yeah, that one kid is eating them, and Baby Yoda's, kind of looking at him. Hey, the kid looks at him. Kid looks at him and says, "No." So he looks off, and you know what Baby Yoda does? He does what he does best. He forced them over.
It's like, what you gonna do? I got your cookies now.
Yep, he force pulled them to himself and was like, I'm eating one now, bitch. And Lady Miss, yes, Scooby Snacks, Mark David Tired, Chicken Nuggies, and Chocolate Milk. And of course, Pod Racing Palpatine, winner of the Boonta Eve Classic. I'd commit a crime just to get arrested by Marshall Doom.
Yeah.
Understood.
And good morning, everybody. I didn't even say good morning to everybody. I just say good morning to the panel. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to everybody out there watching this morning. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, I jumped right into Reina Creole getting monetized. That is so cool. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm excited.
Plus, this episode was really extra good. It's exciting to jump into it too. Yeah,
it was. I was so worried that it'd be filler. I even titled the video this morning, "More Filler?" ? No, not more filler.
But considering what we ran into with the first two episodes, that assessment I don't think is unfounded.
Yeah.
No, it was kind of just like, really, what did we do here today?
Well, we're now halfway through the season, so we've only got 4 more eps.
Yeah, they got to step it up.
Yeah,
keep stepping it up, I should say.
Yeah,
there was a great cast in this episode. We had, of course, Gina Carano as Cara Dune. We had Carl Weathers as Grief Garga. We had I can never say his name out. Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes, you said it right. Giancarlo Esposito.
Back as Moff Gideon. Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
The X-Wing fighter, Mr. Miyagi, Captain Carson Teba.
And the blue guy from the very first episode when Mando captured him and carbonated him.
Yes. You know what? I never thought we'd see him again.
I didn't either.
I didn't either.
But I thought it was a cool callback, when he said, doesn't like being encased in carbonite. He's glad he's out. And he said he still can't see straight out of his left eye. Remember when Han came out of carbonite freezing, he couldn't see.
Yeah.
No. Carbonite sickness. Yes. He's got carbonite sickness. I can't imagine that would be fun. No.
Nah.
Sergey the Meerkat, Pod Racing Palpatine. Yeah, we had Sergey the Meerkat too.
Yep.
Yep.
Almost called him a ferret by accident.
So Mandalorian needs repairs. The ship obviously needs repairs. He's back with Grief and Cara Dune. And they need him. There's an Imperial installation left on this planet that has not been taken down, and they want the Mandalorians' help going in and clearing out the soldiers to take it out. They say if they can do that, they could be the anchor of a trading hub in the Outer Rim. And of course, Mando's like, all right, let's do it. So
Mando makes the point that his ships tore up because of the rebels or whatever, the New Republic, and Carl Weathers, makes a statement. The Empire couldn't control it, the Outer Rim back then. What makes the New Republic think they can? So,
and that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, they couldn't. The Empire couldn't do it, and the New Republic, whatever they call it, they can't do it either.
Yeah, they're trying to. You can see they're trying and failing.
Yeah. They don't have the resources.
No.
Okay. There was always the question of, could Palpatine control everything? And he couldn't. Obviously, he couldn't. And he was building the Death Stars so that he didn't have to worry about that. If rebellion sprung up on a planet and it left the Empire, he could just go and destroy the whole damn planet.
Yeah, I think he even made the point of saying, that he didn't have to control everything. They just let locals control it and they would report to him.
Yeah, the Moffs. That way he could dissolve the council, or not the council, but the Senate. Yeah, he dissolved the old Senate. I talk about that in the very first Star Wars movie, that they dissolved the old Senate.
Right.
And then the local governors would be in control of each system.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they're going to go in and they're going to clear out the Imperial, but they're going to use the Imperial station, but outpost, but they're going to use the blue guy. I can't ever remember his name. The blue guy from the first episode.
I forget his name.
Mithril. Was it Mithril?
Yeah, that may be.
I don't remember.
Mithril.
It might be. I don't remember his name. I just know him as Blue Guy.
Blue guy. Blue guy.
Can't miss the blue guy.
No.
You can't miss the blue guy. And there was a little scene of something kind of weird when we saw the techs walking up to the ship, walking up to Mando's ship, the Razor Crest. One of them looks back like, yeah.
Yeah,
And they're like,
looks suspicious.
Very suspicious. And not a cursory look back like, I wonder if I'm going to get paid. Looking back like, okay, I need to really pay attention to who these people are.
And Kronos, no, the first Star Wars movie is not episode 1. The very first Star Wars movie is,
episode 4.
It's episode 4. I'm sure he's screwing with us. I'm pretty sure Kronos is screwing with us.
Well, he's a Time Lord.
Yeah. Okay. Pottery confirms Mithril.
All right. Cool.
Mithril.
Okay.
So they get to the base. They're gonna raid the base. They're gonna go in and they're gonna take everybody out. Mando jetpacks up to the installation, and of course, as soon as he does that, and they're trying to get in the door below, you hear what I knew I was going to hear. Ah! Splat. Stormtrooper.
Which is nice, which kind of dovetails to, the previous episode where the stormtrooper hit the window and slid off.
Oh shit. I love that. I love how they do that. I absolutely love how they do that. I love how they set that up.
Yeah.
The stormtroopers are cannon fodder, just pure and simple.
They are.
And can't hit the broadside of a barn.
No.
That joke's been going around forever. Where did you learn to shoot? Stormtrooper Training Academy?
Yeah. Oh man. So they end up getting into the elevator, and Mando opens up the elevator down at the bottom and gets them into the base.
Mm-hmm.
And so they mention, isn't that like a Basilisk transport or Marauder? Right.
Yeah. They mentioned, the blue guy says, "Oh man, that's a mint condition, whatever it is. We could make a fortune on that thing." And Mando says, "It's going to burn up like everything else."
Mm-hmm.
It's going to burn with the rest of this Imperial trash.
Yeah, and you could hear his heart kind of like shrivel up, like, "Oh man, really?"
So they have to go in there. Basically, their mission in this is they have to go inside and shut down the cooling system for the reactor. And what's going to happen then is the base is going to blow up because without the cooling, the lava flows will just take over the whole base.
And that's the idea of how they're going to take it out. They're going to they're going to overload the thermal reactor, which is what's powering the base, the volcano, and just blow up the base, take them out, which is a wonderful idea. They get in and they know immediately, like, something's not right. Mm-hmm. It's like there's all those troopers in there, and this is supposed to be like an abandoned base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're only supposed to have like a skeleton crew there, and when they get there, they find there's a lot more than a skeleton crew there.
Oh, yeah.
And there's going to be some big things coming up, guys. Big things. I am pretty sure they get to this room. They get to this damn room, and there is immediately Mandalorian's like, "What the hell is that?" And you see something in almost like a tube in the wall. And
Yeah, it's
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I don't know why I thought it was something like a Bacta tank, which it could have been, but yeah, you see it, and it's almost like in every movie where they walk into some kind of secret lab, and you
Yeah.
see that tank with something that isn't quite human, that isn't quite alien, but you know there's something up, and you know there's something unnatural about
Yeah.
this.
Like some kind of failed clone experiment.
Yes.
And I'm about 99% sure that was Snoke or something like on the same level as Snoke from
Yes.
Yeah. It looked exactly, I mean, it looked very, very similar.
Very similar. It's almost like I forget which Aliens movie it was. The one where they had Ripley as a clone, but
Yeah,
you
number
saw like
3.
yes, you saw the failed one that wasn't quite human, that wasn't quite alien. It's like, what the heck? You're weaponizing this? Yeah.
Yeah. And Psycho Dwarf 9 with a $5 super chat. Building your base out of a volcano seems like a significant design flaw. You have to understand, the Moth Gideon is a villain. He is a
Yes.
villain on the super level that Dr. Evil is. So having a
Didn't
secret
Dr. Evil have a base?
yes, a secret volcano lair.
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
Thank you so very much, Psycho Dwarf 9 Skull Brother. You guys keep the fires burning bright in Valhalla. Yeah, secret volcano lair. And it all starts to make sense. If this was Moff Gideon's like secret base, and of course it's a secret volcano lair.
Nobody's gonna think it put one there.
Also, they supposedly they've already sabotaged the reactor or whatever. They've shut off the cooling, and they've only got like 10 minutes to get out of there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the scene with the tank, just I said, okay, this is how they're connecting it to the sequel trilogy. That's got to be, it has to be Snoke.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong because there's another secret coming up. So I'll expand.
You can just tell there's something going on here. And look, I'll let you finish up because that's going to tag on. It's like I like the visual with this because if you've seen the Aliens movie or you've seen anything where there's some kind of weird genetic experiment going on, immediately you know it's something nefarious, it's something big.
And Mark the infinitely tired, their baby Yodas with freaking laser beams attached to their forehead.
That's a meme right there.
Yeah, you're not too far off, Mark.
No.
You're not too far off because when they get in this room, there is a hollow message. And that hollow message is from the doctor that was experimenting on Baby Yoda and removed some of Baby Yoda's blood. And he is talking about extracting the midichlorians and transferring them to whatever the hell's in that tank.
Yep.
And that it failed. It was a failure. And that if he had more of Baby Yoda, if he had more material, he could have tried again. But he could only try this once, so it was a failure.
And I forget which episode it was when the Mandalorian breaks into the lab and he sees Baby Yoda and he thinks that this guy is trying to kill him, and he's like, no, I'm like trying to save him.
That would have been chapter 2.
Chapter 2? Okay.
Which, let's see. What was that? The child. Yeah. Oh, no. The sin.
3.
It's the sin. Chapter 3, the sin.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he was about to kill him and he's just like, no, I'm trying to save the child. It's like, okay, well, why? And now it makes sense. It's like if they want to get more midichlorians from the child, they can't like do it all in one shot. So that's what makes the child so valuable.
Right. He said he's so small he could only, without killing the child, he could only get a certain amount because he's so small. And he says now he needs to have access to the child again if he's going to go forward with the experiment. And then he makes the report to Moff Gideon, and
Right.
Mando thinks, well, this thing must be a very old transmission because Moff Gideon's dead. And then
Or so he
the
presumes.
blue guy says, no, this thing's only 3 days old.
And to kind of add on to that and to kind of extrapolate, you remember that Master Yoda supposedly had the highest midichlorian count until they tested Anakin.
Yep. Yep. And Kronos says, I hope in the sequel to Spaceballs there will be a baby yogurt.
That movie was hilarious.
Suck to blow, blow to suck.
There was like almost no filler in this episode at all.
None.
It was really from start to finish. Just let's go on a kick-ass adventure. It's not a side quest. It is extremely important to the story. They've got to get out of the base. They're fighting their way out of the base. Mandalorian gets to the ramp he jetpacked up to at the beginning, flies off. You don't know where he's going. And when they get up to the top level, they're fighting off stormtroopers. So you've got Greef, you've got Cara Dune, and you've got Mithril, the blue guy, fighting their way to get out of the base. And Dave Bob, what happens? What does Cara do?
Well, this is a ground transport, just kind of like a land speeder. It doesn't fly. So she starts forward. I guess she's trying to get it to an elevator, but they close the door off to where she can't get into the base again. So she spins that thing around like on a dime, and she sends that thing flying off the edge of the platform down the edge of this mountain, real steep, almost a straight drop. And when they get to the bottom, it slams into the Mithril's land speeder, and just crushes the hell out of it. Yeah. They take off. And then naturally, right on their heels comes about 6 stormtroopers on the speeder bikes coming down the hill. And a couple of them, they are not real good with speeder bikes, apparently, because they crash into each other and blow up. But they end up with 4 of them on their tail.
Well, you wouldn't have got much for that land speeder, because ever since the T-38s came out, they've just not been in demand.
Right.
Oh, which I made that joke while we were watching. I was like, yeah, it's not worth it. Ever since the T-38s came out, it is like a blue version of Luke's old speeder.
It looked exactly like it.
But you've got the stormtrooper, the scout troopers on speeder bikes coming after them. What they call Marauder tank or Marauder APC, whatever they're in, has like a swivel gun, and Greef gets on the swivel gun and starts blasting them. And this was all really action packed without the Mandalorian there. The Mandalorian is just MIA. We don't know where the Mandalorian is. We don't know where the Mandalorians went. It doesn't really explain that. He's just gone. So it's just Cara Dune and Greef and Mithril, the blue guy, who's absolutely worthless.
Yeah. All he does is sit there and worry.
Yeah, all he does is freak out, scream like a little girl, and sit there and worry. They're able to take out 2 of the speeder bikes that come after them, crash going down the facility, like the mountain the facility's built on. Greef is able to take out another 2, and then the last one gets on top of the APC, and he's got a thermal detonator. And he is going to throw the thermal detonator into the APC when the gun swivels around, and he looks up, and it's just that 1 split second of indecision that takes him out, because his grenade blows up in his hand. Action packed, though. Go ahead.
You see his helmet rolling off the side.
Yeah. Yeah, you see his helmet rolling down the little
ravine.
path they're going. Yeah, the ravine they're going down. But yeah, this was very well done. And it's a testament, guys, because Carl Weathers is the one who directed this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very impressed with the work that he's done, because it doesn't even give you a chance to breathe. I'm going to have to go back and watch this and see what I missed.
Oh, yeah.
Because it flew by. Literally, guys, I blinked and this episode was done. And we're not even close to it being done yet. TIE fighters. We see more of the TIE fighters with the folding wings.
Oh, I love those things.
And I love how they've done that. They never had that in the OT. They never had that in even the sequel trilogy or the original. Nothing with these folding wings.
But it makes so much sense because it gets the cockpit lower to the ground where they can, access it easier.
Yeah. And originally the hatch was in the top of the TIE fighters. So you had to there would be a scaffolding that a TIE fighter would be hooked up to, and you would have to climb up a ladder, kick the ladder out, get into the TIE fighter from above, and then take off. Now you don't have to have any of that. And I like that. Oh, well, there's a landing mode for TIE fighters where the wings fold in and it lands like that. I really like that. That was a really kick-ass idea, to where if it has to land on land, you have a way to get on and off the TIE fighter. You don't have to jump your ass off the eyeball, which is what Biggs, Wedge, and Luke used to call them, eyeballs.
Yep. And there were like 4 of them, right?
Yeah, there were 4 of them.
Yeah. So they come screaming down and the sound effects perfectly spot on. Everything in this episode, I mean, it was just perfect as far as sound and the way, the TIE fighters, the pilots. If you looked at the pilots, their helmets, they looked exactly like they did in the original Star Wars movie, with Vader's, wingman. Their helmets were the same, everything. I mean, it was just beautifully done.
Yes, it was. And that is something that I will give Disney this. That is something that Disney has never gotten wrong, is the look and the sound.
Yep.
Things look right. They sound right as far as the special effects goes. It's the story that is always, since Disney bought it, it's the story that's always sucked. And this is holding me on to Star Wars. If it wasn't for The Mandalorian, I wouldn't give a shit about Star Wars anymore. I am getting excited. I am cheering. My arms are going up. Yeah.
Yep. You just love that they can actually pull this off, and the look and the feel is right, and also they finally getting a story that is cohesive. Yeah,
a story that actually makes sense. I am praying next week that they don't screw this up with Ahsoka. And yes, Mark Damesley tired. If anyone loses a hand in this show, it better be Carl Weathers wrestling a baby crate dragon. Yeah, Chubbs, our good friend Chubbs. We'll even name him Chubbs after that happens.
Yeah, and anyhow, the TIE fighters are, coming after him, and Carl Weathers, he's trying to take them out, and he can't. All he's shooting up is the side of the canyon walls down the ravine. That's about all he's hitting. And Cara Dune looks back and she says, "What's going on back there?" And he said, "Well, if you want to come back here and do it, you're welcome to it." But he ends up, I think he ends up taking one of them out.
Yeah. He takes the lead TIE fighter out, and the eyeball crashes into the back of the Marauder, taking out the swivel gun.
Yeah. So they're defenseless right then. And then about that time, I guess the blue guy says, "We're almost we're almost out home or whatever. We're almost out of the fire. They still got 3 TIE fighters coming after them.
And they are zeroing in on the Mandalorian. And everything Dave Bob said about the sound and everything, you literally see the interior cockpit of the TIEs and the pilots. And they've got the targeting computers just like in Star Wars. And, and the same sound, the same look, the same feel, everything is there. It's nostalgia hitting you in the face. This is not a member berry they are throwing at you. This is nostalgia hitting you in the face. You hear that no, just like I have you now.
Yeah, it's a callback, not a member berry. It's just its own thing, but it's just a callback. Beautifully done. You honestly couldn't have done a better job with those TIE fighters. And about the time he gets them all lined up, what happens.
Oh yeah, and you're expecting it. You are expecting it, and it's not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. Oh, they did this, of course. No, you are cheering because just as the TIE fighters have them zeroed in and are about to take the shot, boom, the lead one blows the hell up, and there's the Razor Crest screaming into battle against the TIE fighters. And you're just like, yes. And even Baby Yoda, even Baby Yoda raises both of his hands and is like, yeah.
That was so cool.
Yes. Oh, shit. Anybody that doesn't like Baby Yoda, anybody that wants to turn Baby Yoda into frog soup, I'm sorry, guys, but Baby Yoda pulled a hell yes moment sitting in the co-pilot's chair of the Razor Crest when the Mandalorian blew up.
Still eating his cookies, by the way.
Yeah, he's got his cookies in his lap that he stole from that kid. He's got his cookies in his lap, a cookie hanging out of his face. He grabs the cookie and raises his hands up and is like, yeah, just as I'm doing it too. I'm getting excited. I'm like, hell yeah, Baby Yoda's raising his hands up. And saying,
that was so freaking cool. His hands in the air with his cookies.
Yeah. Oh, and James Andrew Morrison, the predatory roar as a TIE fighter goes by.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That was amazing.
I mean, I literally got goosebumps when I was listening to the sound effects. I mean, it was that good.
Oh, and Mark, the infinitely tired. That's just Mexican Iron Man that wants Baby Yoda taking out Loki. I've heard a certain member over at RK Outpost doesn't like the little bastard either, but I loved this. I really did. Seeing him raise his hands up and shit.
I like that.
Man.
I like that too. If you've ever seen any kids who were just like excited when the parent does something and they want to feel a part of it too, they do little things like this.
Yeah, but one of the first movies I ever remember seeing was Return of the Jedi in theaters. It is one of the first movies. I feel it's like 2 or 3, and as much as people hate the Ewoks, when the Ewoks jump out and they're like, woo, 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 woo.
Yeah.
I was up in my chair in the theater, bouncing up and down, like, yeah. So to see that, it immediately brings back childhood memories of seeing Star Wars. And for a minute, you're Baby Yoda. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So the Razor Crest decides it's going to take on the other 2 TIE fighters, and it does a wonderful job at it. It does an absolute wonder. They do a wonderful job at the battle. I'm like, okay, this is Star Wars. This is Star Wars. How could you guys get the movie so wrong and get this series this right? And you're like, damn, why couldn't we have this as movies? Why could we not have this as movies?
Exactly. But you know, it mostly has to do, well, the movies, basically Kathleen Kennedy. But with The Mandalorian, you have Jon Favreau with more control
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
it. And like I had told people before, if you watch, I think it's the second episode of that behind the scenes that they did about The Mandalorian, and you have Jon Favreau and other directors and SFX people at the table. And when you hear him talk, it's like his enthusiasm is infectious through the other people. And he loves listening to everyone else give their opinions as well. And when Kathleen Kennedy pipes up, people are kind of just like, are you done talking?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, you can see the body language effectively change. And then when Jon Favreau starts speaking again, the energy goes back up.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's just respect there for the franchise, which
It
is
is.
missing in the movies.
Yeah, and you know what? As much as I hate to say this because I love Clone Wars, I am glad that Dave Filoni is not the showrunner for this, because if he was, he would be on his knees and it would be the Kathleen Kennedy show, not the Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
So do I believe she has no input whatsoever? No, of course I don't believe that. But Favreau makes the decisions. Favreau makes the calls. Favreau is leading the show to something good.
Well, that's the reason that we have a series that's watchable.
Yeah.
Right.
So the Razor Crest, it takes out one TIE fighter. It's going after the last one, and it's doing like a barrel roll at it to keep the TIE fighter from hitting him. And Baby Yoda's still got his arms up. Yeah! And they take it out, and when he gets done with the roll, Baby Yoda's done thrown up his cookies. He tossed his cookies.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. And they of course signal the Mandalorian, and he's like, thanks for the repairs, but I've got to get out of here. There's somewhere I have to go. We know where he's going. We know he's going to go see Ahsoka. Do you guys think that his ship has been tagged? That there's a tracer? Because that's what I think. I think that guy.
It actually said it at the end.
Yeah, they did.
At the end of it, well, you'll have to, when you watch it again, you'll see that the little guy that was looking over his shoulder, you know, when they first started working on the ship, he's reporting to the commander or whatever of the Imperial Star Killer, whatever, reporting to him that he had tagged the ship.
Yeah, I must have missed that. I must have totally missed that. So we get our end with Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon makes a return in this episode. I love Esposito. I absolutely love him.
I do. I see him, and I know it's wrong, and I probably shouldn't, but I see Gus from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And just how ominous a villain he was in that show. It's just it's perfect. The mentality fits perfectly for a Moff. So I oh God, it was great to see him.
Would I be wrong here to want to see the stormtroopers standing in line at Los Pollos Hermanos and what would you like today? Hello.
No, because I would.
Serving up chicken to stormtroopers in line, like I am just a simple food server at the mess hall. I'm not Moff Gideon. I don't know who you're talking about. Hello, Mr. White.
I just run the chicken shack down here.
Because the Death Star had to have a Los Pollos Hermanos in the mess hall.
Oh, heck yeah. What else are they running in addition to chicken,
Yeah.
I love the scene where it shows the Imperial Star Destroyer. It looked just like it did in the movies, kind of flying over, and then that's that's when you find out that that's Gideon's ride.
Oh, of
Mhm.
course. I'm surprised he's not on a Superstar Destroyer. I'm surprised he didn't somehow finagle a Superstar Destroyer, but those take hundreds of thousands of troops to man too. So yeah, they have a little talk with Gideon, Moff Gideon, and I guess I missed that, the whole transponder thing on the Mandalorian ship. But of course they're going to follow him. They want Ahsoka. They want Ahsoka and Baby Yoda. Look at all that midichlorians. Look at all those midichlorians.
Yeah. Just like I have to have all of them.
And then you see something very, very interesting. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have played the old Star Wars games, if you have played the old Dark Forces games, then you know who Kyle Katarn is. And you know that he destroyed something called the Dark Trooper Project. It was called the Dark Trooper Project. And a $5 super sticker from Yotam Darkstar. Look at that, Darkstar. And it is a Cyclops coming out of a bush. Thank you so very much, Yotam Darkstar, for the $5 super chat. And it says, hiya, hello, Yotam Darkstar. Thank you so much for being here. Skull brother, thank you for keeping the fires burning bright in Valhalla. What you see, ladies and gentlemen, are dark troopers, and they're lining the walls. And is this okay? So this is the question: is the guy in the tank, is that a Snoke clone, or is that something they were building to put into the dark troopers?
That's a good question, because when I see it, when I see the dark troopers all lined up there, the first thing that pops into my mind is Super Soldier.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the other question is, who is the super soldier that they're cloning to try to bring back, number one? And then adding midichlorians on top of that, what is that going to do?
That would give it force powers.
Yep.
That would give it force powers. And it rejected it.
Scary.
That doctor, that hologram of the doctor that experiment on Baby Yoda said it did not take the transfusion. It wouldn't take the transfusion. So is this what they're putting into the dark troopers? Was that Snoke? We don't know yet. We do not know yet.
Yeah, we don't know.
It looked like Snoke. It did look like Snoke. I mean, that's the first thing I saw was, oh, fuck, that's Snoke. But
yeah, it really did to me. I mean, it, the disfigured face and the whole works.
Go ahead, Luana.
I was going to say, if they're smart, the season finale of this will give us an answer, or at least enough information for us to make very educated guesses that will launch off with season 3's opener.
I'm hoping it does. I really am. I'm hoping it does. Either we're going to get Dark Troopers or this was Snoke. So that is the end of the episode. Next week, guys, we will be back with more Mandalorian next Friday. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of an answer. I don't know. We're going to get Ahsoka Tano, though. So I am completely excited to see Rosario Dawson play Ahsoka Tano. I want to see what they do
am
with this.
too.
And I cannot wait. Guys, we have got a movie watch party coming up tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to watch Die Hard. Christmas. It's a Christmas movie. So, guys, if you can catch that, we would love to have you. We're going to have a great panel. We're going to have at least one of the boys from Echo Base over. We're still filling out seats. So if you want to be on that watch panel, let me know tomorrow, 6 p.m. Die Hard. Fucking Californians. Oops. I said I F-bombed. The only
You
time
did.
in this episode I F-bombed. Watch, you're going to be like, no. limited ad suitability, Loki. You dropped one F-bomb. But thank you both for being here. Thank you, chat, for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank you so very much. We got the Valkyries coming up in a little over an hour for their show. Guys, this is I love this panel. I do. I love you guys hanging out and doing this panel with me. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for hanging out and chat. This is such a pleasure and a privilege to get to do this with you guys each and every week.
Well, it's something that I look forward to every week, and I really appreciate you having me on here.
Yeah, likewise. It's a privilege to be on this panel with you guys.
And thank you so very much, guys. Guys, Reina Creole has her own channel. She does it's the lunch table. And
yes, lunch table.
The official lunch table of the Fandom Menace. She's on the Queen's Council. Check her out. She has a wonderful channel. If you like her content, subscribe, ring that bell. Dave Bob is my brother from another mother and co-host with me on Thursdays and Fridays. We'll figure out something else we're going to do after the Mandalorian is over. And as always, Reina Creole is always welcome.
Well, thank you. And before I forget, the special guest at today's lunch table at 12 noon will be none other than OG Star Wars.
Cool.
And I am very much looking forward to hear her opine about the Mandalorian and about the expanded universe.
That is going to be great. Do not miss that, guys. Lorena's lunch table coming up later today. Don't miss the Valkyries coming up in a little over an hour. And thank you, Chris Persia, for throwing that link out there for Lorena's channel. Guys, Chris Persia just threw it out.
Thank you, Chris.
We will be back next week. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful Friday. Thank God it's Friday. And we will catch you guys later.
Bye.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.